How many weddings do they typically do a year across?
In between 600 and 700 a year.
The lovely Lesley-Anne with us.
Holmes Mill, Eves Hall, Mitten Hall, Shireburn, Wennington.
This photographer's quoted us this, or this videographer's quoted us this. Do you think about this? Like, is it really expensive?
Spill the tea, come on.
Another thing that I really hate.
Hey, be sure you stick around because we're only getting warmed up.
It's surprising how many suppliers that you get who don't.
Yo, how we doing, guys? Welcome to another podcast. Good one today because we have the lovely Lesley-Anne with us, who is an operations manager across James's Places for all our wedding venues. It's funny, but we've known each other for 20 years, and me and Adam for quite a while we've wanted to get a venue owner on and just ask them questions about the day-to-day running or building a wedding business or a venue. But then we thought, actually, why not somebody who's even more front of house, deals with customers, deals with clients and couples on a regular basis.
And suppliers.
And suppliers, particularly suppliers. And Lesley-Anne is like perfect. And we're so happy you've agreed to come on. And I think our viewers are going to get some good stuff from this. So we are going to be talking about getting on suppliers lists, how people that run venues choose their suppliers, as well as loads of other stuff that's going to be kind of helpful. Because I think it's one of the first things, isn't it, when you get into the wedding industry, I want to get on a wedding suppliers list. How do I go about it? So it's answering those kind of questions. So welcome, Lesley-Anne.
Thank you.
And congratulations on
Thanks.
being newly married yourself.
I know. Feels like a very distant
Yeah,
memory
well,
now.
it's like nearly 3 months now, isn't it?
Yeah, 9 weeks. 9 weeks.
Weeks. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, we'll touch on that because Lesley-Anne's just recently got married as well. We can touch on that. Just because I did the
Adam
wedding.
did the
Yeah.
wedding. Yeah, Adam
Did you have a good videographer?
The best of the best.
Did he give you mates rates?
I can't tell you that.
Of course it did.
But you know what, right? So I've got.
Got to keep them sweet, haven't you? Got to keep them
Let me
sweet.
just start with this story when I was saying about mates rates. I had a venue that I used to go to years ago. Not been for a long time, but it was a very busy venue for me. And I ended up doing 3 weddings for people that worked at this venue. And one of them, the guy come to me and he said, budget's a bit tight. We've got the venue for free, but we'd love you. We'd love you. We can't really afford you. How about if I get you 10 weddings, would you do our wedding for free? So he was the wedding coordinator. He would meet the couples and recommend suppliers. He said, if I get you 10 weddings, could you do my wedding for free? And I was like, absolutely, yeah.
Well, if you said that to me, I'll get you 10 weddings if you do one for free. Yeah, I'll do like 5. I'll do that 5 times a year. Thanks very much.
Yeah. And if it said 5, I'd have done it. But he said 10. And honestly, over the space of the next 2 or 3 years after I did his wedding, he was true to his word, and he got me 10 weddings.
There you go.
But and I just think, isn't that great? Because they're trusting you what you do. They run venues all the time. They really want you. But for a supplier, it's like that is like the deal of the century, isn't it? And it's getting recommends from venues that you want to work at as well.
Yeah, those relationships, as we talk about all the time, are so important. But I mean, there'll be loads of people listening and watching this that know who you are, because you are a wedding legend, especially in the Northwest.
Go on then, give us an introduction.
If you can tell us a bit about your background.
Where did it all start for you? Up to present day, not too much, but
by the way, everyone watching on YouTube, we're not at home at Howard's. We're actually at Eves Hall, which is one of the venues.
Yeah.
Just to touch on that, because viewers would be like, "Oh, this is a step up in the space."
We've got a studio.
Nothing against your conservatory.
We're branching out. We hire Eves Hall now for our wedding podcast.
Yeah.
You could do.
Shit, we could do, but we can't afford it. We don't make any money for this podcast. We're just doing it for the love of the industry.
And helping people.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of it came off the back of the course that me and Adam launched for wedding filmmakers, and the value that the business side of that course gave to them. And we just thought, well, let's try and do something for the whole industry and centre it all around the business. So, and it helps people. And
anyway, yeah. Sorry, I interrupted.
No,
Go on. Tell us about yourself.
So, been in the wedding industry for about 20 years. Been running weddings for 20 years. Always sort of worked in the Ribble Valley sort of area. Real Lancashire girl through and through. And been with James Places for the last 11 years, so quite a while.
And James Places are a group that have, how many venues is it?
I've got 10.
10? Is it 10?
Yeah, I've got 10 now, yeah.
Because Holmes Mill, Eves Hall, Mitten Hall, Shireburn, Wennington.
So we've got 6 wedding venues, and then the rest are...
Falcon Manor?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's 6.
Yeah, so 6 wedding venues, and then the rest are like country inns with rooms. Obviously, we've got Holmes Mill as well, so lots of different concepts there, all under one roof.
Yeah,
So,
true.
Yeah, we're very fortunate.
They're all great, and one thing they're always run well, and they always look bang on, don't they? Kudos to James's Places. Well done, James.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's funny because the owner's called James.
Yeah.
And he's just like this elusive name that I've never actually met. Have you met
No,
him?
he's a real person. He does exist.
Yeah, it's funny. So you manage across all the venues or some of them, or?
Yeah, so each site has its own general manager and team in place. I'm there to sort of oversee to make sure that the teams have got everything they need to be able to run all their events properly, and still run some weddings myself as well, if requested.
I love working with you.
Oh,
And
I do you.
it makes such a difference when I turn up at a venue and you've got somebody who's friendly and accommodating and just great to work with. And because I turn at some venues and they're snobs, you need. It's hard. It's not a hard day. I still enjoy what I do, but it just makes it so much easier when you've got somebody who understands what's going on.
Yeah.
And is professional but can have a laugh at the same time. And that is you. Professional, but you can have a laugh.
Oh.
And you make the suppliers and the guests and the couples feel relaxed, and that's a real pro, without a doubt.
I think the thing is as well, at the end of the day, we're all wanting the same thing, aren't we? We're wanting to be able to deliver this dream day for our couples. So the best thing that we can all do is work together for that to happen.
Exactly. Yeah, and listen, I've done venues where sometimes it seems it's all about the venue owners. My way, they do this, do that, and you want it. You want the couple to feel that they're getting their own wedding done their way, but guided the right way. It's. Yes, it's good. Love working with you. I'm going to request every wedding I do moving forward to make sure you're on it. So, right, where do we take it from here then, Azza? Because there's so much to ask, and I want to try and do it step by step. By the way, we've got a question we ask at the end.
Okay.
It's a funny wedding story, so maybe
All
in the back of your mind,
Well,
subconsciously.
the funny wedding story. I want loads because you must have done and seen it all.
Okay.
Like surely, 11 years working at James's Places, right?
Yeah.
So, how many weddings do they typically do a year across? Do you even know? Do you have those numbers?
So we probably do about in between 600 and 700 a year
across all the venues.
across all the venues, but that will now be more because obviously we've got Wennington now as well, so which opened last May.
Yeah, so that's the newest one, Wennington
yeah.
Hall. And 600-700, and you're overseeing all of those.
Yeah. No.
You
Call me crazy.
I hope they're paying you.
Jesus.
My 30 weddings a year is enough to flipping sink me sometimes. But wow.
Yeah. I mean, obviously I'm not there present for every
No.
single wedding.
No.
I do get the occasional day off.
Yeah.
That's good.
get
Good.
married.
I mean,
To get married myself,
you
yeah.
deserve it. Jeez. How do you manage that kind of volume of weddings? And then, because there's obviously loads of staff, but you're do you have to change your approach for each venue? Like, how does it all?
Like Howard's just said before, we're so lucky. Like we've got such a good team at every site in place. Obviously, we've got our wedding coordinators that do like all the initials, so they'll do all the viewings, all the meetings, and then obviously on the days we've got the operational teams. We're very fortunate as well that we retain a lot of staff. So, a lot of the teams have worked at the venues for a long time, which is really good because it means that they're consistent all the time.
Yeah. And it's nice for us because when I turn up, I know the faces that I'm going to see that day generally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was at Midton last week. Joe was
And
on
that
it.
makes me feel better. Yeah.
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 Yeah, definitely. That is a huge part for us. The upkeep of the buildings isn't an easy job because obviously James buys buildings 15th to 18th century. So they're constantly,
They've got a full-time team working
Yeah.
all the time, haven't you?
pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
there's loads more to your job than just running the weddings.
Oh,
'Cause you've got to
definitely,
upkeep
yeah.
the buildings and stuff as well. And
Yeah.
you have, like, some of the venues have members of the public coming in as well.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. So Eve's obviously is exclusive. Here in Wennington Hall are exclusive. Our other venues are open to the general public. So they're operating almost like 24/7, really.
Mega. Right, we need to get into the crux of how
Well,
suppliers get into venues.
Can we
what makes
just
a difference,
talk
etc.
about the from a couple's, like, the client journey? So,
Yeah.
let's say a couple come, you do show rounds, and they, like, how does it all work if someone wants to potentially book the venue? Do they inquire? Do they just turn up? Like, because I'm thinking from my point of view as a supplier, if I can get into the couple's mindset of how they're approaching it and what they're booking and when, it can inform kind of how I tailor what I'm doing to chat to them. Does that make sense? So when do they come here to, like, say they wanted to book Eves?
Yeah.
They come for a viewing?
Mm-hmm. Normally, yeah, so that's the case. So we'll normally find that a lot of couples have sort of done the background work anyway and looked at what venues they're wanting to go and look at. We do find as well that a lot of couples will predominantly do like Mitten and Eves in the same day. So they'll come and look around both venues. So they'll arrange normally a one-to-one viewing. Sometimes, obviously, when we've got a showcase on, they'll come around and look on the showcase days. But we try to encourage one-to-one viewings. So couples will come along, they'll get a tour around of how the day would work, shown around the venue, and we go through all the brochure and everything with them, explain everything to them. And then obviously if they want to hold a date, they can hold a date there if they want to. So we provisionally hold a date for a week. And then after that time, if they want to confirm, they then go ahead and pay the deposit.
Yeah. So then if they book, then do you have like scheduled meetings throughout the journey up to the date, or is it just...
Yeah, so we normally have a 6-month meeting, which is where we start compiling the function sheet for the day. So we go through all the details with them.
6 months before the wedding day?
Yeah, 6 months before the wedding. And then 3 months prior to the wedding is when we do sort of like the final details. So they give us then all the final numbers, everything like that.
Yeah, because there's 2 touch points there then, as well as when they book and you give them all that information. So that's 3, I'm guessing, opportunities for them to need suppliers and ask about suppliers and things like that.
Yeah. So at what point are they? I mean, as soon as they book, then do you kind of follow up with recommended suppliers, or would they ask you? And then, is it because it's the first time they get married? It's a new world.
Of course, yeah.
They're going to need help from somewhere.
Do they ask you that question?
Yeah, a lot. So we don't, as a group, have a recommended suppliers list. We all personally have our own recommended suppliers. And when obviously I speak to the sales team, a lot of us have got the same people who we recommend. Obviously, you guys being on the list, so to speak.
So you don't actually have a specific list of suppliers and you give it to them. You just kind of personally recommend certain things.
Yeah.
So it'll depend on...
They ask,
So
who
and a
they
lot
spoke
of
to on
couples
that
will
day.
ask, And if I sit down with a couple, I will always say to them, like, have you booked a videographer? Have you booked a photographer? Have you booked a singer? Host? What have you booked? Have you looked at anything? But 9 times out of 10, the couples will say, have you got any recommendations?
So that's a really informal way to do it. So there's nothing specific where you would say, you can only choose from this list where you work with these people, which some venues do, which I don't. It's a bit of a bugger. Some venues are actually really strict on it, so you can only use these suppliers. Which I'm sure them suppliers have paid them commissions for being on the list, etc. Which always leaves a bit of a sour taste in my mouth. Because you're getting recommended for probably not the best reasons. But so yours is really informal. If they ask you, you just tell them people that you know in the industry. So that's why it's really important having a good relationship with people that run venues.
Yeah, and I think especially on that point, like because couples are often aren't aware of that as well. Like the venue will be like, here's our list of recommended people. The couple don't necessarily know that they're only on that list because they're incentivized and not necessarily because they're the best. Whereas, and it's a controversial debate, but we like it the way that you're doing it because you'll recommend people that are great with no incentive whatsoever.
Exactly.
It's a true recommendation, isn't it?
It's a true recommendation. I think some couples who haven't given it that much, they're not too bothered if they can get steered by the venue and put their trust in them. We know this is our list. We'll work with them because we know they're really
100%,
good. And as long as that's a fair, rather than them being incentivized to be on that list. If that's fair, then that's good as well. Then they can go off with the list of people and go and do their own research.
So you've obviously got different members of the team that will, on any given day, will show the couples around, and it will be that individual will go, oh, I'd recommend this person. And that's kind of how you do it.
I mean, we obviously will recommend a few, but all they're pretty similar.
And this crossover with who?
Of course, exactly. And obviously, somebody, say for example, I don't know, like Tom, who's the general manager here, might have different people that he's worked with to different people, that I've worked with, so to speak. So, but I do think personal recommend. The whole list thing for me is just.
Fair. for some people it'll work, but I think when you're planning your own wedding, you're invested in it, and it's your wedding. You want to do it yourself, but have a bit of guidance. I think. Yeah. And so it feels more like your wedding, and we've done all this, and we've got our own suppliers that we're really comfortable with, and I think that's really important.
But then also, I think this is why it's a good reminder for us as suppliers to always be like watering the seeds, if you will, of like keeping those relationships growing, because you could work with someone else could turn up at the next wedding and I really like them as well, and then the next person, and then all of a sudden your list is growing, and then you've not seen that other person for a few years maybe, and you lose touch a little bit. Like I've found that in the past where some venues I go to have not been for a while, you kind of get forgotten about, not in a just the way it goes, and there's different suppliers come and go, and you've got to keep your relationships going, because otherwise they kind of fall stale a little bit.
Yeah, it's how to go about it, isn't it? I mean, being out there working, being busy is always the best way, because you get to see the people more on a regular basis. But yeah, certainly. I mean, we find that certainly filmmakers and maybe people like me, they'll start off, they're really hungry, they're not charging a lot of money, but they're getting the name out there, and they might be doing 50, 60 weddings a year. And then as the business is progressing, we're like, okay, the prices will go up and they'll probably be a bit quieter. And then they get to an optimum price and think it's reached the ceiling. They're not getting as many bookings, they're not out there, they're not showing themselves as much, and it kind of starts to come back a little bit. Yeah. So it's kind of getting the balance in it between your pricing and being out there enough. I just found this. I've done 3 weddings so far this year, that's all I've done. But and that's probably I've been over the last sort of month. And I've noticed being out, my inquiries have gone up again. Yeah. And it's just because I'm being out there. I'm putting stuff on socials. Yeah. Friends are reposting what I've posted, and it starts that whole ball rolling again, and I'm starting to get more inquiries. Because we touched on this last week, but it's a quiet year for a lot of suppliers this year. And
well, that's a good point actually. Have you found that as a venue group, are bookings the same this year, or has it changed at all? Or?
I mean, our bookings aren't down, but they're just sort of in different seasons, so to speak. So normally for us, wedding season would start ramping up sort of like June, July time. But for us this year, April and May has been really busy. June and July is a little bit quieter, and then August just goes mental like it does for everybody. Yeah. But definitely, I do think the trends are changing when it comes to booking weddings. Couples aren't dead set on having a Saturday anymore now. They'll go for a Thursday because it's cheaper, or a Sunday because it's cheaper. When it comes to booking the dream venue now, people are a lot more flexible than what they used to be.
And I think they have to be, because don't seem as much cash around for that kind of
and that's what's doing it, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think also when COVID happened and you had to postpone a lot of weddings, and then so people were having to postpone, because that must have been crazy for you guys.
Crazy.
People were postponing to any available dates, which were midweek, because all the Saturdays were taken. So then this is going back a couple of years, and people are seeing that and going, oh, they got married on a Thursday, and that was still great. So maybe it's becoming more accepted. Yeah,
definitely. And I think, we say to couples, because I'm very transparent when I sit down with a couple and I speak to them, because, I do ask people what the budget is, because it's pointless quoting somebody for a Saturday when we know that they're not going to be hitting the minimum numbers. Yeah. When realistically it'd be better for them to get married on a Sunday, because the minimum numbers are less and it's more within the budget.
Yeah, it just makes sense.
It's about being flexible, isn't it?
Yeah. And I love a midweek wedding, because it keeps your Saturdays free as well.
And that's it. Yeah.
Does it for me.
Well, I've got loads of weddings this year where I'm doing the Thursday and I'm not booked on the weekend.
Yeah.
So you are finding that there's more of that happening.
Definitely.
More midweek, more Sunday, off-peak days.
Yeah,
and then
definitely.
off-peak like months as well.
Yeah, definitely.
So people still getting married, but they're trying to find ways to kind of cut on the budget a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's the way to do it.
Reassuring to know that a group like you really, I mean, in the Ribble Valley, it's James Places, isn't it? So like really popular venues, and you're all still busy. Because my worry was that if you said, yeah, we're down, if the venues are down on bookings, then it's going to trickle down to the rest of us suppliers, because that means there's not less weddings. If the venues are quiet, that means there is less weddings, and then it's even going to be harder for us. But if you're still busy, then that's good. That means the weddings are still happening, but they're just happening differently, and people are
perhaps a bit more.
What do you find?
On different days?
Are you finding anything different in terms of like what people's priorities are and how they're doing the day, and what the types of suppliers, are they going all out as much, or are they?
I do think for a lot of couples, and a lot of couples mention this to me, they'll say, for example, you were just talking about obviously various suppliers, and people that have been in the industry for longer are a bit more expensive than new suppliers that are coming through. I always say to couples, they'll come to me and say, oh, well, you know, this photographer's quoted does this, or this videographer's quoted does this, and I will say to them, listen, that's because what you're getting is quality, you know. Especially when it comes to like your photos and your video, like that is not something that, you know, it's got to be perfect, hasn't it? Like that is your lasting memory of your wedding day. And I think, you know, and even the entertainment, like it's such a big thing at the wedding. And the thing is now with couples, although the wedding should be about them, it's not. It's about everybody else. It's about, you know, who can put on the best wedding, who can, you know, they want the guests to have like the best day. You know, and that's what it's about now. And I think for me, I mean, obviously I'm very fortunate when I got married because I've got a lot of friends that, you know, work in the industry. But, you know, those are the main things that I think when it comes to a wedding, like you can't scrimp.
Don't skip. Yeah, I think the entertainment on the day, you've got to go all out for that, haven't you? Because like you say,
it all works hand in hand, doesn't it? I mean, good entertainment is going to make great photographs and going to make a great video. So
it helps.
Kind of
helps,
I mean, I've had loads of like photographers where the weather's been crap, they can't get much shots outside, and they see me on the wedding like, oh, at least we know we're going to get some more content because we're going to be taking the dinner
massively.
It'll fill it up for them. But at least I'm biased, but I know good entertainment makes a wedding. Good host, good, you know, great band, great singer. It's got the vibe, hasn't it? People remember them entertaining weddings more than just sitting down and what a lovely place. Oh, the food was good. No, the party was rocking, and that's what people want to remember.
It's interesting that couples are coming to you and saying, we've had this quote. What do you think? Do they ask you for that feedback?
Yeah, they'll ask me and they'll say, this is what's been quoted. What do you think about this? Like, is it really expensive? And I'll say to them, I'll be like, no. Like, Cause, you know, your venue, your entertainment, your photographer and your videographer are your most important things, aren't they? Like, they're the things that people notice. Like, your guests will comment on, you know, we get a lot of feedback about how beautiful our venues are, how good our food is, how good our staff, and people remember that. Like, I will see people at other weddings, friends' weddings, and they'll say, you ran my friend's wedding at Mitten, you know, 6 years ago, everything was perfect, you know, the food, the staff, like, we couldn't fault it. And that's, you know, that's what you want, isn't it?
Yeah, because then they might be going on to get married themselves as well.
100%.
Yeah, I've been guests at weddings, you know, and I'm the worst guest at a wedding, by the way. Cause, you know, if it's a venue that I've not really been before, and there's been a few I've been with Sam, and Sam's like, just relax today. Just relax and enjoy the day.
It's hard to turn it off.
Sam, they didn't start the music at the right time. Everybody's wondering what's going on with the starters. It's taking ages to bring them in. She's like, just enjoy the day. I said, I am, but it's ran really bad. And I suppose I'm spoiled because I've worked at James's Place for so long, and it's always ran so well. And a lot of the other venues, and it makes so much of a difference. You know?
But for you as the venue, you're I suppose the first thing that couples book, and therefore you're their like point of kind of trust and knowledge, and like, well, you know, if anyone's going to know about a supplier, it's, well, ask Lesley-Anne. And not only are they asking you for the recommendation, but then coming back to you and going, okay, so we did inquire and they charged us this, and is that okay, and is that reasonable?
It's good that, I want to get Lesley-Anne's sort of so for people who, for the benefit of our, you know, viewers who are in business, they're trying to progress the wedding business. In your eyes then, what's really important from a supplier coming from your perspective, and they're coming to your venue, what's really important? What sort of things are you kind of looking out for to then maybe potentially recommend these people in the future? What makes a great wedding supplier in your eyes, and how should they be?
I think somebody who definitely works with the team, because like I said to you, obviously, at the end of the day, we're all wanting the same thing, to deliver this dream day for the couple. One thing I hate is a supplier that will come to the venue that doesn't know the venue and hasn't really done the background, if that makes sense. So, you know, will come to me on the day and say, right, where's best place for me to take this photo, or where do I need to do this, or where? And I think, you know, come prepared.
Yeah, okay, that's interesting.
Because when you are physically running someone's wedding, You know, you'll both know this yourself. Like you're having to think what's happening, you know, 3 or 4 hours later down the line, and thinking of. So it's difficult to be doing your job, and also
you don't want to be micromanaging somebody else.
Exactly. Yeah.
So in that respect, somebody hasn't been to the venue then.
Yeah.
Would you recommend them giving you a call prior, or doing, you know, making a trip to the venue, or getting information from you beforehand?
I would, yeah. Yeah, I think so, because, you know, again, couples are spending a lot of money on that, aren't they? So they want to know that they're in, you know, your photos and your video, for example, are so important, like they're your lasting memories. So, you know, you want to know that you're putting a lot of trust in that person, aren't you, to know.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's what I'd do if it was a new venue and I was a photographer. I'd probably take a visit to the venue.
Yeah.
Or ring up the people that are running the venues.
Yeah. And
just ask questions and be really interested. You want it to be good. You want to get the best shots, don't you?
But even if, like, because I turn up to venues that I've not been to before, but I don't come to you and go, where do people normally take the shots? You just get there half an hour early and go around and like use your own kind of
creative
noggin.
juices.
Yeah. Just because any questions like that for you is adding to your plate, and that's not your job to figure out. So I think
the takeaway is just make it easy for the team on the day and the person who's running the wedding.
Yeah.
And by making it easy, it's pre-planning.
Doing your research is good, because I suppose I don't really do that very often, but it's a good reminder, because obviously you can scope out the venue beforehand. You can go and visit it. You can just look online and see what the space is like and where to be and what.
And
what
also see what other suppliers have done. You know, the shots that they've taken, what they've or.
Yeah, 100%. That's what
What else? Red flags.
Go on.
Has there been anything
red flags
on the day, like a story where someone's really wound you up, whether it's florist, DJ, cake person, like anything?
Do you get
photographer?
egotistical? I've arrived type people.
Sometimes.
I've witnessed that before.
Spill the tea. Come on.
I've witnessed that with photographers before. Like it's all about them, and it's like, no, we're all here to do a job together.
Yeah. I'll never forget once. I think it was actually here.
You're allowed to name names as well.
Well, I actually can't remember the name joking. Because they were quite new at the time. But obviously, when the meal's going on, obviously, our suppliers will come and sit in here, and obviously, rightly so, we feed them, because obviously they've been here all day, so we like to look after them. As I said, obviously part of the team.
Can I say on record?
Go on.
You do such a good job of feeding and looking after us, and brews and 3/4. Like, it's rare that you get all of that.
But we're a team, aren't
it's so
we?
nice.
So
it's so nice.
You know, why would we not?
And it stays in my mind when I go to other venues. I'm like, it's not as good as James's
places. They even
places.
brought my meat food out at the last Mitten Hall, and obviously I don't eat. I was like, I thought of you straight away. I thought you'd be smashing yours and mine. But they brought it out, and I said, I brought it anyway. So the other supplier, Maxine Furness, was on it. I think she ate my make.
Anyway, go on, carry on.
So yes, we had a supplier here. Went out to let them know that obviously we'd be starting speeches in 5 minutes.
That's helpful again, yeah.
That
doesn't always happen.
Just say, you know, we're about to start speech, so this is about to start if there's entertainment mid-meal or something like that. Anyway, so I was running the wedding, got everything sorted, started the speeches. Obviously, I didn't realise they weren't in the room, because obviously I'm looking after my couple, letting them know that we're going to be starting speeches.
Yeah, you've got enough to think about.
Started speeches, they weren't there. So afterwards, we had a bit of a to-do afterwards, because he came to me and said, you know, why didn't you come and tell me? I said, hang on a minute. I told you that they were starting in 5 minutes. My job is to look after the couple, not to make sure that you're there to film. If you're not responsible enough to be going to film that, then you probably shouldn't be doing your job.
Excellent. I hope it was Johnny Draper. Was it Johnny?
No, it wasn't Johnny. No, Johnny would never do that.
Johnny wouldn't do that.
I can say that because I know he's not going to be listening.
But yeah, that's kind of it. All in all, I feel like I get on quite well with suppliers, because I've worked in the industry for a long time. But yeah, that actually really annoyed me that day, and I will never recommend that supplier to anybody.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because I just found it really unprofessional.
Yeah, well, they're blaming somebody else for their mistake, aren't they, really?
I gave you a 5-minute warning. If you can't be bothered to get off your seat to go and film it, then that's your problem, isn't it? Not mine.
Yeah, they wanted another, like, they wanted you to come back as it was starting and go, right, it's starting now, come on.
No, sorry.
I always tell photography videos, you know, at the start of the day, this is what I'm going to do, and then I'm going to introduce speeches. You'll hear me probably say it, so that, just so you know, because I'm not going to start running into, we're all doing it. Are you ready now? Come with. I'll tell them at the start, this is what I'm going to do. So then it's up to them to do their job.
It's really good of you to come and give the 5-minute warning, because for me, video and photo as well, like, not every venue does that.
No.
But also, it's not the venue's job to do that. I've got to like keep an eye on things and be checking and not missing out. But it's always appreciated when I know I'm here. I can relax a little bit because I know you'll come and give us a bit.
Fundamentally, it's your.
It's on you.
It's always on you.
For sure. So what? Okay.
Right,
so
that's one red flag.
what good things do people do? Like what would get someone in your good graces?
No, I want more red flags.
Oh, okay,
So
more red.
why wouldn't you recommend somebody? What things you thought, right, not recommend them because they did this? So that's probably one of the examples you've just mentioned. That's one.
Do you know another thing that I really hate?
Go on.
Suppliers that slag off other suppliers. I just don't like it.
Yeah. Adam Wing.
I just like some suppliers will come to me and slag off other venues, and I just think, do you like? Do you know what I mean? Like it doesn't. You know,
so much,
of course it does, and I'm sure that people will. I'm sure that suppliers slag James Places off. I have no doubt that they probably will. But
but if it's someone
off on a regular basis, and I kind of hope. I hope I am.
I know I am.
You know you are. Well, and this was somebody said this to me years ago. If you're not getting any shit, you're not being successful enough.
Yeah.
And you're just being a bit of a mouse.
Yeah.
You know, you've got to be forthright, do your own thing.
I know like I agree with you. If you've met someone for the first time as well, especially, and they just start gobbing off about it, just says a lot about them, doesn't it? If this instantly
It's insecurities. You know, why would somebody slag somebody else off?
Yeah.
If you're confident in yourself and what you do, why would you go and slag somebody else off? You know?
Yeah, 100%. And I just think, you know, the wedding industry is a big, you know, it's almost like a family, isn't it? A little bit.
Oh yeah, it gets around.
Yeah,
it gets
yeah,
around.
100%. Do you know what I mean?
Everybody knows everybody, don't know.
Yeah, of course they do. And I think the thing is, you know, we all just need to work together.
Yeah.
So that's a red flag. Other suppliers slagging other suppliers off.
Yeah.
It's really easy to slip in, especially when you're working with friends, and then you get a bit relaxed, and because you've got to remember to be professional at all times.
Yeah,
and
of course.
You're right. It's not on because you never know who's listening, and you might get a bit lapsed and be like, and just get a bit like, oh, I shouldn't.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes we all have a bit of a chat, don't we, amongst ourselves? Like you said, like us three have obviously worked together for a long time, haven't we? But, you know, for suppliers that come in and they'll say, oh, well, I was at such place the other day and, you know, it wasn't very good, or I didn't get this, or I didn't get that. And I just think, do you know what? Like,
yeah, leave it.
Yeah, just leave it.
Coordinator didn't come and get me before speeches.
Yeah.
Right,
I only got one 5-minute
flags.
warning.
It's got more. So I've got loads of red flags. Certainly with photographers, videographers.
Oh.
Personal hygiene's one of them.
Oh, yeah.
Bad breath is another one. It's all about me is another one. Come on, have you got them? Come on, give me some more red flags. What else do you hate about
I feel
suppliers?
like personal hygiene, you know, for sure, because it's surprising how many suppliers that you get who don't come and are. I mean, you guys are always immaculate, and the majority of the suppliers are.
Yeah.
But you know, there are some that come sometimes, and I think, what are you wearing? Like, you're
Scruffy,
photographing someone's wedding. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I just think no.
Yeah, it's the smelly thing as well, which just really gets me. It's like, certainly if you're a photographer, you could have had a shower, mate, or, you know, and that's why I always carry mints. So I always carry mints when I'm on my weddings, and I dish them out photographers. If I get a whiff, I'm like, hey, mate, do you want a mint? No, you're all right. No, you need one.
Oh, mate, so the next time I'm working with you, you ask me if I want a mint. Now I know what for.
You know what for?
He always offers me a mint every time.
Please just say LA Gun and put some perfume on.
If it's an OCD thing, but I'm dead funny with that. I think the biggest fear is like bad breath. It's got to be, hasn't it?
When you're up close with customers.
When you're up close with people, certainly me, when I interact with a couple, God, can you imagine that?
Yeah.
Ooh, he stinks. Ooh, no.
Soft-footing, yeah.
Mega red flag. Right, so, unkempt, shirt hanging out, all scruffy. You're not going to have that. It's no good at a wedding.
Not a fan.
So if anyone did any of these things, is that it? They're not getting recommended by you guys?
He stinks, he's not coming again.
It's not it, but the thing is, like, it's difficult, isn't it? Because when you're recommending somebody to a customer,
it falls on you a little bit.
Yeah, 100%. And you find this, we've had this in the past where if there's been an issue with something, the couple will say, but you recommended them. Yes, we did recommend them, but the booking is with them direct. That's not, do you know what I mean? So
You're
it's
putting your name out there.
100%, yeah. And that's the thing. That's why I will only recommend people who I know, you know, are well presentable, smash it day in, day out, work really well with our teams, are big advocates for James Places, so we'll always be posting us on socials, and also come into the venues and respect the teams and work together with them, because that's not always it's like you said, sometimes you get suppliers in who think they're entitled and can just be rude to the staff.
They treat them like staff.
I've come across that loads.
Where's my dinner?
That's an interesting point you touched on there, actually. So I take it you really like it as a Mitten Hall or Eves or wherever. You like it when people post about their event, about your venues.
Yeah, 100%. Of course you do. Yeah.
So that's
yeah.
A massive
Where do you stand on
on
on Instagram, the collaboration thing? Like if someone wants to collab on a post.
Not many venues do.
I was going to say it's hard.
Unless it's a professional videographer.
It's really hard to get someone to accept a collab.
Yeah.
So like James's Place as whoever runs the social media, do generally accept those things, or is the rules in place? Do you know about that stuff?
I don't really deal with the marketing that much. Jess is our marketing manager, she's absolutely unreal, is Jess. And she's very good with social and sharing other things that other suppliers put on. She's really good with that. So you'd have to ask her that question.
That's the holy grail, that is getting a collab from the venue.
So that's a good one,
yeah.
And it's wow, what do you need to do to get the collab?
Yeah.
Professional photographers has got to be a must, I'm sure, and video. Difficult for
we need to get someone on, maybe.
Huh?
Maybe Jess or someone like that on to ask these questions. Because I think I tried to collab with Eves for your wedding when I posted it.
Right.
And didn't get accepted.
Which
is it's totally fine. Because the thing is, if they've
just to get rejection, it's fine. Don't worry.
Yeah, and I guess you get these requests all the time, and your socials will be busy.
I'm with her at a wedding this weekend, so I will ask the question.
Yeah, just curious.
Yeah.
Maybe ask if she wants to come on.
Yeah.
We know Jess. I've worked with Jess before.
She used to be before, I can't remember what.
So she does the social media for the venue.
So she's our marketing manager, so she does all the social media for it, and also everything that you see around the buildings, all the
She does
point of sale, everything.
So we'll do a podcast with her. And
it's interesting to ask that.
We'll dress around the subject, and then we'll say the subject. How do you get a collab?
Yeah.
Why didn't you accept me the other week?
Why didn't you accept me?
No, but because most venues will have someone in place handling that as a full-time job, won't they? So that's someone we need to speak to, maybe.
Collabs that I've had from venues, even videos, little silly videos that I've done, I've usually been from them venues that are kind of just starting out and they're really trying to ramp up their own social media. But certainly established venues like this probably won't accept a collab.
Yeah, because you're going to get you must get requests all the time for that. Jess is probably getting pinged all day long, isn't she?
Yeah, you will.
Right, so we've done the red flags. What's a good thing that someone can do that you like?
What would make you? Yeah, I'm gonna recommend that supplier in the future because they.
Like when Howard Wing's little nephew turned up for the first time and was like, "Hi, I'm a videographer."
I'm Adam.
Well, like
Helped
I said
having
to
an
you,
Uncle Howard, obviously.
Just being someone who comes in and who is down to earth like we are.
Yeah.
It's interesting that because we're talking about all this and how we work with you guys and the team, and you've not mentioned the quality of the work once, and that's
interesting.
It's interesting because people just think, well, my videos have got to be amazing, my photos have got to be amazing, but from the people that are recommending you at the venues and fellow suppliers, we just care about how you are as a person to work with and stuff.
I feel like obviously the quality of work is really important.
Yeah, it's a given, isn't it?
Do you know what I mean? I booked you for my wedding because I know that you smash it day in, day out. Literally. So for me, there wasn't even anybody else that I wanted to look at.
Just
for
got
my
to pause you
wedding.
there. Because there's lots of videographers who can do similar-ish work to Adam.
Yeah.
But you were like, I want Adam.
Yeah.
So you could have had any other video, loads of them, but you wanted Adam.
Yeah.
So there's something else there, isn't there, apart from the work?
Yeah, well, we have a good working relationship, don't we? Do you know what I mean? So
there you go.
Why would you not?
Yeah. You knew it'd be great for your wedding.
Knew it'd be great.
Yeah. So it's all of that, isn't it? And as a venue looking for the kind of suppliers that you would happily recommend, obviously the work's got to be good, but there's loads of people that do good work, so that's kind of a given. So it's the other stuff that you're looking at.
And I think as well, people that recommend the venues as well is a big thing for me. Because it's good to help each other out, isn't it?
I've said that it is a two-way street sometimes,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah. And the thing is obviously, we've had it in the past where someone's come and booked the wedding off the back of a supplier because, the supplier might be a family friend, so they're already doing the whatever it is.
Yeah.
They're doing photography, videography, hosting,
Well, my sister got married at Holmes Mill.
Yeah.
And I gave her a list of places and she chose that one. So that's the kind of thing.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Prime example.
I mean, the one that I did for like Rosie this week, a friend of mine who I knew what type of couple they are. I knew like budget-wise and things, and they were going to get married somewhere else. And I've given her a few other examples, and she's gone and booked one of my recommendations.
Yeah.
And I'm just a wedding singer, so it is really important. It is a two-way street sometimes.
Yeah, of course,
'Cause
100%.
You can find this with venues. Probably more with venues when they're so up their own arse. And sometimes treat suppliers like the staff, and I've had umpteen bad experiences with some venues.
Yeah.
And they don't realise that it is a two-way street.
Yeah, of course it is.
We're all
Yeah.
a big family at the end of the day trying to work together and create a good outcome. I'm not going to say names, but God, that venue up in bloody Yorkshire. I've never been to a venue where it's so much about the people who own the venue rather than the couples.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you stories about it offline, but and I've been since doing that venue, which I've refused to work there now. But going online and going to reviews and Googles, you can see what the couples are writing about this venue.
Yeah.
And it's all right. It's nothing but bad news.
Which is really sad
It is.
for the couples that have had the wedding there.
Yeah, it is.
Really
Yeah,
sad.
absolutely. And they've had bad experiences, and so we should all be going for the same outcome, shouldn't we? And it's
Yeah,
about giving
100%.
the bride and groom their best day.
Yeah.
Whatever it takes.
That's all it boils. It doesn't matter who we speak to on this podcast. It always boils back down to that, doesn't it? It's at the end of the day, we're providing service to a couple who are getting married, and we all want to give them the best experience,
Yeah.
no matter what you're doing.
Absolutely.
And therefore, just work together to
Work
achieve
together.
that.
Fun, friendly, down to earth, professional.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So let's say maybe someone new starting out, or someone that's trying to get more work in a certain venue.
Yeah.
Like, is there one piece of advice that you'd give, or one thing that they could do to maybe, I've not worked here before, how could I get into?
Yeah. I mean, reach out to the venues
Yeah.
to start with, get to know the teams, speak to other suppliers that have worked at the venues, there's enough business for everybody, isn't there? Do you know what I mean? So I think new suppliers would learn a lot from suppliers that have worked at that venue, previously.
Yeah.
But do your homework.
Yeah.
You're right,
Sure.
because there's the temptation to think, well, that venue's established. There's already loads of photographers that are always there, so they're probably set. So I won't even bother getting in touch. But you're right, there's plenty of work to go around.
Yeah.
And there's no reason why you couldn't be added to that pool. And like I say, people come and go, don't they?
Absolutely, yeah.
I think it's intimidating if you're new starting out and there's already, that there's someone that is always at that venue and is.
I can't really go there because they're there.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
No, they were where you were years ago.
Yeah,
So
exactly, of course, yeah.
Don't worry about it. So do you recommend then contacting venues if you're starting out and introducing yourself?
I would.
Like an email to the coordinators or the
probably,
managers
yeah.
and say, so I'm just starting out. I'd love to come and work at your venue.
Yeah.
And what about offering free services to come and get some promo stuff? Is that something you guys entertain here at this venue?
Yeah, we probably would do. I mean, it very rarely happens, but yeah, absolutely, or especially for like Eves, because there's the opportunity to do that if there's not an event on. But if they wanted to come and have a look round the venue or anything like that, then by all means.
Yeah, I was thinking, as a singer type, like somebody like me getting going. How could they do?
Well,
I suppose
you
could
have
a
your-
service for
You do your-
charity events, or do you want me to come and do some free gigs for you?
Yeah,
and things like
definitely,
that?
but also that does get you noticed as well, because then obviously it goes on our social media. You can post it on your social media, and I think a lot for couples when they're looking at getting married and looking at suppliers will look on the venue's page and see who has
been
collaborated
there,
with them,
Yeah.
who's been there, because they know that those people are used to that venue and have worked there before.
That is quite a big thing, certainly with photo and video. One of my couples the other day who booked one of the venues I'm going to next week, I asked her, why did you book photography? Oh, because they know the venue really well.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it gives them a lot of trust. When I can say if I speak to couples and I say, "Oh yeah, I've been to your venue before. I've done what here's a video I did at your."
Yeah.
Like
They'll wear
They
that.
like that.
they really and
Yeah.
it doesn't really matter. Like, I
Doesn't,
know
no.
that I can still smash a venue I've not been to before.
Yeah.
But to them, it's real like confidence, and they're like,
I
"Oh,
do
good."
think it helps if
It does
you've
help,
been at
yeah.
the venue before, for sure.
But from their
Yeah.
point of view, it's like really reinforces it in the mind, doesn't it? I think it
yeah.
really helps them trust. But surely the obvious one is the open days. You do
Yeah.
like wedding
gonna ask
fairs,
that,
open
wasn't I?
days, and stuff.
We do, yeah.
So
Is it Little White Box or do you run it yourself?
No, so we do a lot in house. So we still do little white books.
Yeah.
But the ones that we do in house, our teams at each venue will contact the suppliers to come and
So you'll
work.
do your own open evenings, open days and stuff
Yeah,
as
yeah,
well. That's
yeah,
good, yeah. So
yeah.
how would you get on one of those then, say, if you knew? Or do you only invite sort of people you've worked with before? Kind of?
So it does. We do tend to invite people that we've worked with before.
Yeah.
As I've said to you before,
that
obviously.
same thing that you're recommending those
It's
same
the same
people.
thing of recommending, we want to know that we're getting people in, James Place are premium venues, therefore, we
wanna
work
make
with
sure you
the
got
people that
quality
we
there.
recommend, we want to
Yeah.
make sure that we've got the quality. So we don't, when we have, and also as well, when we do have our open evenings and our open days, as much as it's about, suppliers, for us, it's about us showcasing the venues as well. So for us, we want to make sure that, we've got the best of the best in, that our venues are looking the best. We've got the best suppliers, as I said to you, people who are advocates at James Places. And you regularly, like I said, as couples, we recommend suppliers to couples. When couples are coming to look round for the first time, we'll have regular suppliers who'll say, or they might ask them a question about Eve's Hall or Mitten Hall, or, and obviously they can respond like you guys would, and say, well, actually, this is how this works here. How it works at a wedding breakfast at Mitten and what happens during a turnaround.
Exactly.
And do you know what I mean? And it helps.
When I've been here on open days, I feel like responsible as I'm almost like an advocate for the venue as well.
Yeah.
And, I take that on, like, obviously you got to be professional and like about your own business and your services. But when couples are coming around, I'm like in the back of my mind, okay, it's an open day for James. When venue's dressed, it's for you guys to promote the venue, and I've got to then represent that, because it's going to fall back on you guys if I speak to a couple and I'm rude to them or whatever. Like, not only is it hurting me, but it's hurting you as well.
Oh, 100%.
So I think as a supplier exhibiting on an open day, you've got to be bigging up the venue and representing them and just being professional as part of like a spokesperson for the venue.
It's really good to get on open day. We've talked about this in the past, haven't we? Big, massive wedding shows, you spend $2,000 on a thing. They're so impersonal, but we've always said if you can get on an open day of a venue that they run themselves, kind of the holy grail with it, because they're inviting all their book couples, so it's getting on them that's really important.
What's the process with yours? Do you have them at bookends of the year, or do you do them throughout, or how many do you have?
So the only time we tend not to do them is through summertime, although we are doing one in July this year. But as a rule, it's normally sort of January, because that's an ideal time, because everyone's just got engaged over Christmas and is looking for venues. We normally will kind of do like Jan, Feb, sometimes in April, depending if we've got, it's all about if you've got the availability.
Yeah.
And we will always try and do sort of like 2 or 3 venues out of the group on the same day. And just so that it gives people a bit of an opportunity
They
to
can get round all of them, can't they?
Yeah.
And I've done that when I've been here for open days, and the couples that are coming in and speaking to, they've already been to Mitten, and then the next one they're going to go to is at Helmsmill, and they hit them all in the same day.
Yeah, and we find that a lot of couples will come, and all the time when you speak to couples, will say, where else have you looked? If they're at an appointment here, I've been at Mitten, right? Okay, or vice versa. At Mitten, we've been at Eve's.
Yeah, because I suppose it makes no odds to you from a business point of view which one they book, as long as they book one of them.
No, I mean, for us, if it stays within the group, then that's great. And we're really fortunate as a group that we've got such a variety of venues as well, because, couples who get married at Holmes Mill necessarily aren't looking for the, Georgian mansion or country house hotel. That's not for them, and that's not what they want. You've
got an option for everybody.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, mega.
The open days, how many suppliers? Because it's just normally like one supplier from each, isn't it? Or
So we normally do kind of like one of each. So like one photographer, one videographer, one bridal, because, it's not over. We don't want to. It's not overkill, is it?
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's tricky to get on them than I imagine. So you'd have to really work your socks off. I think if you've been at the venue a couple of times that year, you know there's an open day coming towards the end of the year. Keep the
Well, what you said
communication,
about
keep
offering
posting
something, some sort of
Yeah.
free service.
and then you can go in with it's like the jab right hook, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do loads of stuff, and then at the end of it, oh, can I get on your open day, mate?
Yeah.
And you might go, actually, we've had you. Yeah, go on, we can find space for you.
I think the thing is as well, obviously the teams at site will contact suppliers, but also it's very rare, you know, that we get suppliers that will contact us and say, you know, next time you've got an open day, will you keep us in mind?
Right.
Because I feel like if people did, then we probably would a little bit more.
Probably would, yes.
Yeah,
it's always
but-
worth asking, even if
Yeah,
it doesn't,
definitely. Yeah.
even if it doesn't come off
Yeah.
that time, because it might do. You know,
Yeah, exactly.
year
That's the
after.
thing.
Okay,
But
that's good to know.
Yeah.
'Cause it's a tricky balance. I always think, well, maybe that would be annoying for some, like, you know, if you're pestering them, but it's good to know that you'd welcome that. Because when I've done them in the past, I'm happy to bring my camera and shoot a bit of video
Yeah,
and get a bit
exactly,
of promo
yeah, yeah.
and stuff. And
Yeah.
like you could sing at it and come and.
Well, I remember
if you got an open day, I'll come sing, and that's the service that you can offer. Then
I used to do
Yeah.
quite a few. I used to did mittens at one time and a few others. I stopped doing it, but I remember there was a point when I was still getting asked to come along and do stuff, and I put you in for a few. I was like, I
Yeah.
can't do it. What about Neff? He's just starting filmmaking.
Yeah, I went to,
that kind of got you a little bit.
Yeah.
They trusted me to then
Yeah.
to say, look, he's dead respectful. He's dead nice. He'd be great. And so you got your foot in the door that way with a few. So it's getting recommended even for an open day can be a good thing.
it was
but-
Briary Wood, the first one.
Oh, yeah, that one.
Maywood Group. Yeah,
Yeah, wasn't that little one? Was it that one?
they were doing Cragwood, Maywood, Briary Wood in the same day, and
Yeah.
I was at that one. Robin was there from DFC.
How was it?
Met him for the first time. Yeah.
Good.
Last point on this, because obviously you got married recently as well.
I did.
And we've kind of touched on it, but I'm
Yeah.
guessing when you booked your suppliers, it was the same sort of thought process that you have when you recommend to other couples
Yeah.
of that blend of like the work's good, but we want someone we can get on with. Did you inquire with anyone that you didn't know that like you liked or you didn't like, or was it all just you booked your mates?
I'd kind of,
Makes on it.
yeah.
Because like with ours, most of the people we already knew. So
Yeah.
like you're saying, we already knew who we wanted
Yeah.
because we know them. But then there was a few that we'd not met. Some of the services that we'd not met that we had to go through that process, and then in doing that, there was things that I liked, things that I didn't like.
Yeah, we just booked it. I mean, Nick, to be honest, was kind of just left me to it. Of course he did.
Typical Brit, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a good thing about being a man. You just turn up on your wedding day and it's all done for you.
But yeah, I picked people who I'd worked with in the industry that I knew, you know, were amazing, and also that I had a good, you know, working relationship with as well. Because, you know, working in the wedding industry and planning a wedding, stressful.
Yeah,
Really stressful. Love the day, the bit before it, all the planning and everything. So glad it's over.
So
it's a
your
lot,
wedding
isn't
day,
it?
Adam. So
Yeah.
was there any of the suppliers that you perhaps didn't know as much, but you were interested in booking them? And did you go down that route before you booked your final
Yeah, I
choices?
found it really interesting. Yeah, because we spoke to a few videographers, and some of the responses I got back informed how I do things because
Right.
you know I was like, oh, I like the way that person's
But you
done
still
their
kind of
process.
booked like your mates, really, haven't you?
Yeah,
Kind of.
yeah.
So,
So there was
so the end of the day,
a
that's been really important to you. The people
yeah, and
delivering
we're
the
in a
service.
unique position because we do know people and we
Yeah,
can
of
book our
course,
mates.
yeah.
But the florist, we were trying to book a florist, and there was one that we'd spoke to, and we'd had a Zoom with, and then we contacted them, and we just didn't hear back from him. Like we followed, they said they'd follow up with some stuff after the Zoom, and then they didn't. So we messaged them, and we just never heard from him again. And I was just like, all right,
See you later.
cheers. Yeah, so that was annoying, and obviously like
Especially when they know that you work in the industry as well. It's just
Well,
a bit-
yeah,
Might not
maybe,
know.
yeah.
You might not know.
No, well, maybe not, but I think it might have come up at some point. But either way, regardless, like you don't do that to someone, do you? Just-
Well, if somebody asks you in that area, florist-wise, you're not going to recommend that person. You're going to recommend the one who's been really attentive.
yeah, so that's it. So
Yeah,
that
of
annoyed
course,
us. So
yeah,
we
yeah.
ended up booking. We got Sam Williams,
Yeah, Sam's amazing.
which we only didn't ask her in first, just because we're getting married miles away, and I just thought that she probably won't want to travel.
Yeah.
But when we got kind of ghosted and bad experience with this other one, I was like, well, do you know what? I will just message Sam just in case.
Yeah.
Because we're at a dead end. And then she jumped at it, so I was like, oh, thank God.
Yeah,
Sorted.
and she is amazing. So you know your flowers will be amazing.
Lesley-Anne was when we went in before your wedding breakfast, and you were going in, and all the staff were like, "Is it all right? Is it all right, boss?" It's like just.
Did you manage?
It's funny.
Relax. All right.
Do you know
your
what?
wedding.
All day.
You were all
I
right.
was really stressed the day before and I came to set everything up, but then on the actual day, I just kind of went with the flow. But I know the team here are amazing.
Yeah, you can.
And I
relax
just,
enjoy it,
yeah, that's the whole reason, because loads of people were saying,
You didn't
to me,
have
why
your-
are you getting married at one of your venues that you work at? Why not? Because I know it's going to be spot on.
Yeah.
I know
And it's
everything's
only
going to
a
be
room
great.
somewhere else you don't know of.
Yeah.
So why
Yeah,
not?
and,
You know,
and
the
your guests are
building's
going to be looked
beautiful.
after, aren't
Yeah,
they?
yeah. So I was like, it's an absolute no-brainer.
And also, it must be quite nice because, like, I quite liked that it was here because I know it so well, and I know that
Yeah.
it's like you work here, so it is like it kind of from a story point of view for the video.
Yeah.
It was nice that it was somewhere that meant a
Yeah.
lot to you, and that you've like it's like getting married at home sort of
Yeah,
thing.
definitely. It's
Had that
sentimental
kind of-
to me.
Yeah, that's the word I was
So-
looking for. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Bit more
it
personal.
made complete sense to get
You'll always look
married.
back in years to come. Oh, we got married. I used to work at the venue.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
It makes it more
It,
personal.
it was
doesn't
mega. It was really good.
Yeah.
It was good.
But I feel like good I was on this fucking wedding now.
Don't make me feel bad.
Why didn't you book Howard?
Yeah, why didn't you book Howard?
Right. So
Too expensive. Too expensive. That's what really it was.
to end on.
Too much of a diva.
Too much yeah. Probably.
If you hadn't demanded a meal, she'd have booked
Yeah.
Yeah.
you.
Well, was so much more choice. When I started out doing what I was doing, there's nobody else. Nobody
No.
hosting during the day. And Robin's picked on that up years ago, and he was doing similar-ish stuff. And
Yeah.
Then it sparked off a load of other people, and then a lot of families, a lot of like drinks receptions, guitarists, people are like, oh, I'm going to do the hosting. I'm going to add it into my package, and
Yeah.
there's lots more of that available
Yeah.
now compared to what there used to be. But still, no one's like Wingy though. Just can't do it like I do it.
No, for better or worse, you are one in your own. So we always ask this question to everybody. We have a couple of like closing questions that we ask everyone,
Okay.
but I'm excited about the most
the
embarrassing
stories.
story. So the mustard, like in all your years, what's the wildest thing you've ever seen at a wedding?
The wildest thing.
Like
got to be
embarrassing or something funny, or you must
So,
have a few.
do
I
you
want
to give you some examples of what other stories have been
multiples.
been said in
Yeah,
the past
go on.
months? Yeah, well, there's always a story about Adam shitting himself at a wedding. Or was that me?
You didn't
Can't
catch
remember.
Well, no. I do have a poo related story.
I've got a poo-related story.
You got a good one.
Come on.
Nothing
Are you a
like.
bit worried because you're representing the venue here?
No,
We might have
there's
to ask
nothing like. There's things that have happened to me, but not necessarily like.
No one tried to jump off the balcony at the front
No,
or
thank
anything
God.
wild.
No, nothing like that.
Come on, there's
No.
got to be something. It's got to be a horror story at a wedding, or you've caught somebody doing something they shouldn't be, or
Is there anything that's ever gone wrong from your point of view that you've had to fix or like embarrassing or?
I dropped a cake.
Oh,
Yeah, bad.
yeah.
there's
Yeah.
a story.
That's a
Um,
tricky one, isn't it?
Yeah, so basically the couple had done a cake and it was like like French fancies.
Yeah.
They'd done it like French fancies, so it was like 3 tiers. So anyway, so we put the cake out, and then the venue dresser had come set up earlier during the day, but I forgot the cloth for the cake table, so I had to ring them and say, you need to bring it back. Because everything else had all these really nice overlays on, and then this cake table just had a cloth on it. Yeah. So anyway, so they brought it back. So I got one of the team. I said, I'll lift it up. I said, will you just put this cloth on, and then we'll just pop it back down. But the cake stand was a bit like a bit of a swan neck one. So like each individual tier. So anyway, as we were holding it, I'd obviously like manoeuvred somehow, and literally the top just slid off, but it literally flipped and hit the floor, and it was just like a huge thud. Well, obviously on a French fancy, they have like a little hump, don't they, on the top?
Yeah, top bit, yeah.
So literally there were about 5 of us in the room. We all just stopped and literally went like this, and then all just burst out laughing because we were like, what can we do? So I picked up this cake and I was just like, oh God, no. So obviously we tried to sort it out, even rung, do you know Ebella Cakes?
Okay.
Rang them and said, have you got some yellow icing, because we need to try and sort this cake out.
Can you help us out?
I thought, I'm going to have to tell this couple, they're going to go mad. So anyway, we managed to sort it, so it looked better. I mean, it didn't look like
you
it did
patched
before.
it up,
We
put it back.
Yeah, so we've basically gone out, got some icing, brought it back, redone this top tier.
Commitment, fair play.
Yeah, one of the chefs in the kitchen did it because it obviously has that little white detail on the top of it and everything. So anyway, when we brought the couple in to like look round the room, I had to tell them, I was like, guys, I've something to tell you. I said, I'm so sorry, but you know, this has happened. And you know, when you literally, I'm waiting for him to go like, oh my God, are you joking?
Yeah.
Like, go absolutely mad at me. The bride just pissed herself laughing and just went, oh my God, that's so funny. That happened to my mum and dad on their wedding day. It's meant to be. It's meant to be. I'm thinking, I've been stressed
Wow.
out my tits for the last like 2 hours, like rushing to get icing to fix his cake out. And then
Fine.
literally,
That's lucky though.
yeah, that was so lucky. Yeah.
That's ace. That's
So
that's
lucky.
a story.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Did
Yeah.
we get the question from the last guest?
Yeah. Yeah. So
What's our last guest?
John, the website guy.
You sure? Somebody after him.
No, that was just us. The question to Lesley-Anne was, what's one piece of advice for moving up a price bracket? Which you're not in the best position to answer. Really. But if you've got any thoughts, that's great.
But you've done it,
As a
and I've done
supplier,
it, so-
yeah, for me, it's really... Because putting your prices up is like, you know, you do it and then you're not sure and it's a scary thing. For me, it's so much easier to do if you've got enough bookings in the diary for the following year anyway. So if I've got like, if it's December or January and the year ahead is fully booked of where I want to be and I've got so many weddings at such a price and I know I'm set for the year, then there's really little risk to... Okay, if I get another inquiry, I can test that new pricing.
Test the new price.
Yeah.
I think it's like what things need to happen before you're comfortable with actually doing it.
Yeah, fair.
You obviously work's got to be back.
Progression of your work,
Progression
which
of your work.
happens really quickly when you're starting out, and then like things like winning awards but if you are really busy, then it suggests that you are
Maybe too cheap.
maybe are a bit too cheap, yeah. And that you can afford to put your prices up and test them because you might be like, well, you know, how do I know when
If you're doing 10
when my
weddings a
work's
year,
good enough? How do I know? But and you could look at other people and go, well, their work's like really good, but it doesn't really matter how good your work is to a certain. Once you're at a certain level, there's so much more to it that decides your price. But if you've got way more than you need for that year, then you can just put your price up and test it.
Once your socials and your branding and your website and your work's up to scratch, it's like, okay, I'm ready to test it. And
Well, yeah, but the market will tell you if you're super
you've got
busy.
different avenues to go down. You can probably be more wedding planner heavy and go for the real high end market.
Oh, actually, because this kind of ties in. It's something I wanted to ask you anyway. For couples that typically come, do you have like a stereotypical type of couple? Obviously, there's different styles across the venues.
Yeah.
But do you find that people like have certain budgets or prioritize certain things, or you know, when going back to when you said, "Oh, videographer's quoted as this much. Is this a reasonable price?" Is there sort of ballpark figures that you kind of expect?
I mean, we always joke, and especially when we've got showcase days and people come to look round, because we'll say like they're an Eves couple or they're a Mitten couple,
You
know, they're a Shireburn couple.
Yeah, you must learn to spot it.
Yeah, and I think you do. And the thing is, you know, we will ask people, like I said to you before, what the budget is, because you know they might not necessarily be able to afford like a Saturday in summer, but might be able to go for, you know, another
Thursday
day.
in October or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, you know, we always do ask people, and I think wedding budgets are hard, aren't they? Because who's ever stuck to a wedding budget?
Yeah.
Not me.
Exactly.
We certainly didn't. So I just think, do you know what I mean? You're always going to go over, and I do think couples are happy to pay a little bit extra for the things that they know
really want.
are important. Yeah.
I think I had a budget. I think we just wanted stuff and we just managed to
Just because, like, I would look at James's Place's venues as they're the sort of premium aspirational venues that me as a supplier, I want to get in with those venues because they will attract a certain type of couple, a certain type of budget, so that I can push my prices and my quality of my work and the branding and everything. Because if I know if I do a wedding here, the video is going to look a certain level of, you know.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
think directing your markets, to answer the question, was direct your marketing at those venues where you know you know,
Yeah.
it's an affluent venue.
Yeah.
You're going to attract the type of couples that can afford a good wedding with, you know, expensive
Well, you know,
suppliers.
I assume, but it kind of makes sense that the kind of couples that are coming here and that are booking, because you charge what you charge because it's a premium venue,
Yeah.
that they're going to have decent budget for everything else,
Yeah.
generally speaking.
Yeah, genuinely. And normally, like, especially here, Mitten Hall and Wennington, they are your premium, you know, your premium weddings. Like, the budgets are bigger. They want the best of the best.
Yeah.
And will spend to get the best of the best.
What do you think? What's an average wedding budget? Would you say,
God.
in your experience in these venues, across the
For
board,
everything, or-
average? Yeah, for everything. Yeah,
I reckon you'd be looking at about between 30 to 40 grand now.
30-40 grand.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to.
Yeah.
I think.
gonna
I
say
think
that, yeah.
the
Yeah.
the last national average that I saw was 35k.
Yeah.
You could double that easily though.
Oh, yeah, easily.
Easily, but
yeah,
that's
yeah.
across the board average 35.
Yeah.
It's
40
nuts
grand.
that it's a lot of money.
It's crazy.
Yeah, but I think my wedding was probably 20, 25, and that's going back
Yeah, it's a long while ago. So
15 years ago or something. Huh? No, 20 years ago.
It's a
20
lot.
years, 20 years ago. Shit, time
Yeah,
goes so
it's a
fast.
lot.
yeah, well, yeah, the average is 35, and we've gone over that. So, Oh, if you weren't a venue person,
Yeah.
what else would you like to do in the wedding world? We always ask, like, if you could swap trades and do something else.
Oh.
If you're another type of wedding supplier, or what would
You
you,
ever
what
looked
would
at
you do?
something else and gone, oh yeah, I could have a go at that?
It'd probably be a makeup artist.
Yeah, you go.
Yeah, I feel like that's probably something I would.
You do.
Yeah.
I like that moment where the bridesmaids, mums, whoever, have had their makeup done, they look in the mirror and they just
Yeah.
feel like
Yeah.
wedding ready and beautiful, and that must be really nice for the makeup artists, hair people.
Yeah,
And
like
they get that kind of feedback at the end and go, oh my God, I feel amazing.
yeah, it's rewarding for sure.
Yeah, I can get that. Because you get that as well, like, oh, you're amazing, your singing was amazing.
Yeah.
And I get it. You've been amazing today. But it's different for us because they don't see it, the finished product.
Yeah, but so
Until later.
I always joke with the couples when, oh, Adam, you've been amazing. I'm like, you haven't seen what he's done yet. What?
I probably said it to you.
know.
I say it every time because you
Yeah.
probably at the end of when we left said, oh, you've been great today. Thanks so much. And I probably said, but you've not seen it yet.
Yeah.
You don't.
I think it's more
you
to
don't know.
do with how you've been on the day
Yeah,
with them
yeah.
and stuff.
It's just I find that
Yeah,
really funny.
definitely. And I think that really puts couples at ease as well, you know, when people are on your wavelength and
Yeah, oh God, yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
You kind of do it for that. You get so much back from when you get that, don't you? From at the end of it, you've done your bit, and it's
Yeah, you must get this.
You get the love from
Yeah.
Once you know that
It's
that
like,
wedding
you'll have
day's
it,
done
yeah, for sure.
and the couple are buzzing,
day and stuff. So,
Yeah.
it's
It
real
is-
nice reward, isn't it?
Long hours can be stressful, but it's also a really rewarding job as well.
It's lovely.
You do amazing. It's definitely not for me. There's no way I could run wedding venue.
Just
No way.
that 700
Oh my
weddings
God.
in a year. Like I keep coming back to that in my head. That's just a lot of admin and a lot
lot of admin.
names. Do you remember everybody's names?
Not everybody's.
I see. I'm good with faces, me. I see
Yeah,
couples at weddings. And
I'm the
Yeah, I see
faces,
your
yeah.
wedding.
Yeah.
No, genuinely. Like sometimes you do mix them up and you go, oh yeah, like you put their name to a different date and
Yeah.
it all
Yeah.
gets. But you've got to remember that for them,
Yeah.
it's their one wedding, isn't it?
Got 4 on the trot next week.
Have you?
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Oh.
Like,
Nice.
and every wedding is so individually different as well.
Mm.
And I think it's about, you know, letting couples know, because obviously a lot of the time when we've got a wedding leaving, we've got another one coming in, yet no, every wedding's trek complete. Do you know what I mean?
And everyone has to be the most special one ever.
100%.
doesn't it? And,
yeah,
and
yeah.
I, and
But
I,
it should be though, shouldn't it?
Yeah,
People paying a
absolutely.
lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Totally right.
And you know, they deserve to have it perfect.
I want every one of my weddings to be like the best one I've ever done.
Yeah.
And always, you know, that's
If anyone is listening who is actually engaged, because we do get brides and grooms listening to this,
Yeah.
or suppliers that are engaged, James's Places.
Yes.
James's Places.
The most
certainly one of the
wonderful
venues for me
venue.
consistently, ever since I've been working in the industry. I've just been always just
Yeah.
bang on.
Yeah, if you're
Always.
up north in the Ribble Valley and you've not worked at one of these already, because like I
Yeah.
think most good suppliers have been through these venues.
Absolutely.
Then,
if you live around
yeah.
here, yeah.
They're the best.
we've done,
Thanks so
haven't we?
much, Lesley-Anne.
No,
That was
thank
great.
you.
Thank you very much for coming on.
No
I've enjoyed it.
problem.
It's been great.
Yeah, it's lovely hearing from like, because obviously we've worked together loads, but to hear behind the scenes of how you speak to the couples and kind of getting all that insight is very interesting. So
Yeah.
thank you.
That's
Thank
all
you
right.
very
You're
much.
welcome.
Yeah.
No problem.
That's a wrap.
Done.
Done.
So thanks so much for listening. We really hope that you found this episode insightful, inspirational, and if you did enjoy that, then please consider subscribing to us wherever you get your podcasts, iTunes, Spotify. We're a Think Wedding Business.
We're also on YouTube and Instagram, so if you want to watch us, you can go over to YouTube and find us at Think Wedding Business, and the same over on Instagram to keep up with all of our future episodes.
We'd really love you to subscribe and join us on this journey. And if you do like this content, please consider giving us a 5-star review. It just helps us get seen and helps spread the word.
So thanks again for listening,
Wings
and we'll see you
out.
next time.
Bye-bye.